Hey, what's going on, guys? TayJay Productions here, and today I am in Kokomo, Indiana to check out some dead retail locations here in the area. There are quite a few fun locations for us to check out today, and I'm very excited to show it to you guys. Yes, behind me you might have seen there is a Joann, and we are going to get into the history of where I'm standing at right now and then check out some more places. Come with me. Now what you're seeing here is called Family Farm and Home, but before it was Family Farm and Home, it was a Big Lots here in Kokomo. This was actually a major inline anchor of the Kokomo Shopping Center Plaza built in 1992, which is the building that we are looking at, this entire plaza right here. The Big Lots was actually one of the anchors of this plaza when it was originally constructed. And for roughly 3 decades, this store sat and welcomed customers in through its doors. But in mid-2024, Big Lots corporate launched an aggressive footprint reduction plan due to reduced foot traffic and a lot more online shopping, a lot more less people coming in their stores, basically. Let's face it, why do retail places close? Because they stopped seeing customers. Worth noting that Big Lots was also having a supply chain issue at the time, which also kind of contributed to their downfall. In August of 2024, the company announced in SEC filings that it would be closing up to 315 stores nationwide, including this location right here. And then just 1 month later in September, they filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy and closed their locations. This location ended up closing sometime in late 2024. It sat vacant for maybe about a year, and then Family Farm and Home bought it out. Next door though is still what it was back when Big Lots was also here. Joann. Now this Joann also opened with the plaza in 1992. This was one of their full-scale format stores, so they had, you know, all the fixings for this location. This was the absolute epicenter for Kokomo's crafters and quilters and things alike. Now Joann actually initially filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in March of 2024. They were trying to trim their massive debts while keeping all of their stores open. However, persistent inventory issues and sluggish retail economy forced them into that final second Chapter 11 bankruptcy in mid-January of 2025. In February 2025, there were court papers that were officially filed. They targeted hundreds of stores for immediate shutdown, and the Kokomo location was squarely on that initial 20-store Indiana hit list. This Joann had a going out of business liquidation sale. It kicked off in mid-February of 2025. They were selling, you know, fixtures, shelving, remaining craft supplies and such. And then by May 2025, the entire Joann brand officially ceased operations. Not a good place to vlog right now. Shopping cart, that's all I wanted to say. And here is our next stop. I'm sure you guys know what this one is. Well, yes, it is a U-Haul storage facility, but it used to be a Kmart. And here's a picture of what it looked like before it became what it is today. So this Kmart was opened in 1978. This one was built during Kmart's massive mid to late 70s expansion boom. The mid to late 70s was when Kmart was like aggressively expanding their footprint around the Midwest. This was a standard Kmart layout with the outdoor garden center and auto service center, and it featured a Little Caesars and a K-Cafe near the front entrance. Now on August 29th of 2019, Transformco actually announced a massive closure of, I think, like 77 stores. And in this 77 list of stores, it wiped out all of the remaining Kmarts in the state of Indiana, Kokomo being one. And then this location would, unfortunately, officially close its doors in mid-December of 2019. That would end the 41-year run for this Kokomo Kmart. It's too bad. And then this location would sit vacant for 5 years until U-Haul would finally take it over and revamp it to what it looks like today. Okay, but before we move on, because that's it for this location, I noticed, do you guys see that? I'm straight up just gonna walk in there and see why I see a big K on the wall. It looks like some sort of plaque or something. That's the customer entrance. I am not a U-Haul customer, so I don't know if anybody's gonna be in there and notice me and be like, hey, what are you doing in here with a camera? But I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit because I need to see what that says. Okay, I've never walked into one of these before, but whatever, I have to look at that sign. What? U-Haul building reuse. Former home of the big Kmart. That is so cool. Do they all have this, or is it just this one? Wow, that is so... Kokomo U-Haul, I applaud you for this. That is really cool. I mean, yeah, obviously sometimes things can't stay what they were forever, but at least remembering what it used to be, that is really cool. But here's the inside, and that is a classic sign of Kmart right there. Down the hallways here. Oh, that's liminal. That's a liminal space. I don't know what gave me the courage to just walk in one of these today, but whatever, right? Obviously, you're not really gonna see much of what the Kmart layout is now because they, you know, they put up the U-Haul signs here, or the U-Haul walls and all that, but the lighting's still there, and it's automatic too, so this hallway light will turn off if there's no activity. And here's what the directory looks like. We walked in through this door here. There's where the sign was, and we walked all the way over here, and now I'm standing right here. So that's all we have to look at here. Let's move on now. But no, really, that's really cool. I'm glad I saw that from where I was sitting. And now I think I'm gonna have to look for that in the rest of the big K U-Haul places that I find. I wonder if these floors were most likely Kmart. Yeah, I don't think that they redid these floors. All right, let's go. That was super cool. I'm really glad I went in there and looked at that. And my next place I want to take you guys is to the Aunt Millie's bakery thrift shop here in Kokomo. Now some of you might be being like, what, bakery thrift shop, what's that? These used to be very common, and actually let's just get right into it. So this Aunt Millie's was constructed and opened in 1980. And for decades, this location served for budget-conscious families, local churches, and schools. It was an official bread thrift store, is what we're looking at right now through those doors. This is a place where Aunt Millie's would send overstock items, slightly imperfect goods, and sell them at a discount rate. It's called a bakery thrift shop, and they were fairly common, especially in the Midwest, up until around the 2010s. Aunt Millie's did it, Hostess did it, I'm trying to think of more. I was gonna say Wonder Bread, but that's Hostess, I believe. So yeah, these were kind of a common thing around the 90s to the 2010s era. So unfortunately, around the 2010s, around the beginning of the 2010s, Aunt Millie's began to shut down a massive percentage of its public-facing thrift stores. Obviously, having to employ people to work at these thrift stores every day costed money, and ultimately at the end of the day, the money that they made at these public thrift stores didn't really satisfy their overall cost for it, so they shut them all down. A lot of them to this day are completely vacant with all the fixtures inside, like this one. Some of them stayed in operation for a while, and I'm actually kind of shocked to hear that this one stayed in operation until late 2021 because they survived the very beginning of that COVID era. But obviously all their fixtures in there remain. If they ever sell this stuff off, I definitely want it in here. Now, as you can see, everything is just sitting here by the front door. You still even got price tags. I mean, it's all still there. But yeah, pretty cool to see all these fixtures still here. Now the building itself is not vacant. They still use it as a distribution warehouse for Aunt Millie's. The company is doing fine. It's just that the public-facing thrift shops is the main thing that they had to get rid of. However, I do have personal memories of going to public bakery thrift stops like this, and I know some of you out there do as well. Personally, I always went to the one over in Indianapolis, the Hostess Bakery thrift stop, with my mom all the time, but they are gone too, and that building doesn't even exist anymore. So these places are really cool, and I don't know if there's still any out there that are open. I guess I just didn't look that up, but I think in the future, maybe I can find one for you guys if there are still some that are open. So long, Aunt Millie's. All right, so this one is an interesting one for sure. Now, for some reason, when researching this location, I have a really hard time finding correct information. There's a lot of speculation, but what I did find out for sure is this was a Ryan's Steakhouse and then became a Whiskey Creek. So it was two versions of a steakhouse. Neither one of them survived, and I think the latest was Whiskey Creek that closed in about 2015. So being that that information I just gave you is correct, this has been abandoned since 2015. We're gonna get a closer look at it real quick, but just look at this aesthetic for a minute. The parking lot is not taken care of. It's super abandoned here. I mean, there's no sign of life over here. Let's just say that. All right, Ryan's Steakhouse and then Whiskey Creek. I did find some reviews for Whiskey Creek. Apparently the place really sucked. Then I guess that's why they're closed. All right, so let's look in the window and see if we can find anything. Oh, we certainly found something. Somebody busted through the window right there. Well, obviously this is the entryway. Look through the other side. Get a peek through that door. Gross. Oh, that was gross. Oh, that was gross. What the actual hell was that? I don't know what that is, but it just dripped on my arm. Holy sh! Oh my god. It's bees. It's literally, okay. That was from bees. Okay, I'm terrified of bees, so I'm gonna move away from that, but it like literally dripped on my arm. It was like this yellow substance. Okay, I'm gonna get away from the front door. We're just gonna keep moving on, okay? That was genuinely terrifying. Okay, sorry about that. Anyways, back to the video. Let's look over here. So, yeah, it's pretty dilapidated. No broken windows or anything out here, so that's good at least. But it's definitely overgrown, as you can see over here. Oh yeah. Look at all that. Definitely interesting to say the least. I'm not sure where those people got in, because obviously people have gotten in because it was busted on the inside, but the outside looks fine. We got bees holding down the front entrance. And yeah, you can't even see this side because it's so overgrown. We got a dumpster area over here, so we're gonna take a peek. And I'm not even gonna walk all the way in there because, yeah, apparently over here there's a lot of spiders and bees and all that, but okay. Dollar General cart, all right. This is so abandoned, I feel like there's really nothing to look at anymore. Whiskey Creek. Apparently it was really bad food. And before that it was a Ryan's. So, like I said, I wish I could have actually researched this location, but there's not much out there, at least that I could find. All right, well, on to the next one. All right, another mall. Let's do this. Now, I definitely am gonna walk around the interior of the mall and get some footage of it. But obviously the big camera kind of gets security's attention every time I go into a mall. So, no worries. Goodbye, big camera. Because I'm gonna use my phone for this one. The Markland Mall was developed by Melvin Simon and Associates, which is known as Simon Property Group today. The Markland Mall officially opened its doors in 1968. This mall debuted alongside Sears, Danner's 5 and 10, and Arroway. Arroway chain was sold, transitioned into a Target in 1981, and that still remains today. This mall had a revolving door of retail chains such as Danner's 5 and 10, KB Toys, Macy's, an Interior Cinema, Radio Shack, Old Navy, Sears, and Carson's. Danner's closed in early 1970s. KB Toys closed in 2004. Macy's closed in 2005. Interior Cinema closed in 2006. Radio Shack closed in 2015. Old Navy closed in 2016. Sears closed in 2017. And Carson's closed in 2018. I'm gonna take a wild guess that this GameStop behind me used to be a Radio Shack based on the walls in there. I wish I could show you, but I can't just like walk in there and do that. See what I mean? And guys, that is it. There was more to the mall, but as you can see, the mall cuts off right here and then the redevelopment around here. I'm glad I was able to get all of that on camera this time with my phone. All right, back to the regular camera. Now this will be a hard one for those of you to guess which one what this used to be, but go ahead, drop your guesses. I'm gonna give you a few minutes. You might already have some hints if I've hinted at it already. Okay, time's up. It was a JCPenney. Yeah, and this JCPenney actually opened its doors in 1963. It was a founding anchor tenant of the Kokomo Mall. You're like, wait, TayJay, you were just at the mall. Yeah, that was the Markland Mall. This was what used to be called the Kokomo Mall. Not anymore though. This building began as an open air mall before being enclosed a few years later. JCPenney was situated on the east end of the mall corridor, serving as a primary anchor alongside Montgomery Ward and the regional department store HP and Wasson Company. This used to basically be a mall, just like the Markland Mall. This was actually partially demolished to transition into an open-air Kokomo Town Center. And the JCPenney survived the wrecking ball. Now, unfortunately, following JCPenney's corporate Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing during the first wave of the pandemic, the Kokomo location was officially placed on the 154 store liquidation list, and that was on June 4th of 2020. And you know how the rest of it goes. Liquidators moved in, cleared out most, if not all, the inventory, and then this location closed for good around October of 2020. No more JCPenney. This was in operation for 57 years, but unfortunately, no more JCPenney, but what it is now is a Gabe's, which I'm seeing a lot more of lately. So while JCPenney might have failed in this location in the long run, hopefully Gabe's has good luck going forward and can give this location continuously good life. But those doors right there, guys, those used to be JCPenney's doors. All right, finally, we have one last quick little stop because we're right by it. It's my boy, Chuck E. Cheese. Oh my God, it was hard to ignore that the mouse is just staring at me right there, giving me the thumbs up. Let's talk about it. Now, when it comes to dead retail, this location is still open, so there's not much to talk about, but I am going to go over a few facts real quick for you guys, just to end the video off on a good note. Now, this Kokomo Chuck E. Cheese opened its doors in 2004. It features the classic mid-2000s Chuck E. Cheese identity. It's got like a mix of phase 3 and phase 4, some phase 3 exterior like you see right here. Thumbs up Chuck and the red and yellow awning with the lights. And then inside they have some phase 4 artwork as well. Those of you who are not Chuck enthusiasts, what does this mean? Well, basically it just means that they have a mixture of 90s and early 2000s decor that they have not changed since, thankfully, because as most of us on this channel know, new isn't always better. So this Chuck E. Cheese, thankfully, is one of the last two in the state of Indiana that has not updated their location. Unfortunately, though, it is on the dead retail video today because Chuck E. Cheese is struggling and is closing a lot of their locations. And what they did, they did a 2.0 remodel where they made all of their locations look bland, boring, and modern. And they did remove the sky tubes, the ball pit, which the ball crawl was gone long ago, but all the fun stuff. Basically, the animatronics, they took the axe to them as well. It's just too much maintenance and all that is what the corporate says. This does have one of the last two animatronics in the state of Indiana. Well, let's just hope that they do okay, and that's it. Yeah. Well, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making it. And if you guys enjoy watching TayJay content, you can get some TayJay Productions merchandise at tayjayproductions.com. You can get a t-shirt, stickers, keychain, whatever you want there. And yeah, it really helps support my channel and helps me do what I do. I love what I do, and when you guys help support that, I get to continue to do what I love, and hopefully you guys love watching me do what I love. That's a lot of love, right? Anyways, guys, all right. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until the next one, goodbye.